It's a fat-fendered Ford Friday, and we're here working on Fat Fanny. Hey, it's cool. Today we're back on our interior project. Today we're back on our Upholstery 101 series. We are going to work on building the template for the rear, the card, anyway, that goes behind the door for the upholstery and where the armrests and things go. So my buddy Mark is actually going to be here real soon, and we're going to dig into it. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike, and this is Mike R. Shop.
Okay.
I opened the door, and you never know what's going to come wandering in.
Like a lost puppy or stray cat.
So what we're going to do today is make the card for the back seat like we did on the door, like I did on the door, so that we have a template to make the ply. And if we have enough time today, we'll actually get the plywood backer made as well. And we might even be able to make two at once. And,
yeah.
You know,
why not?
I think
clamp them together, cut it out.
It's not going to be as complicated as the doors themselves. So the first thing we want to do is follow the contour of that wheel well so we know what the curve is. And you mentioned getting the cloth tape. I'll dig that up. You suggested a brake line for the contour.
I suggested a coat hanger. You said, to heck with that. I have brake lines.
So anyway, that's what we're going to do. And we'll get that template made up. And it should be pretty simple, but so what we're talking about is the panels that go under the window there and down to the floor and up around the wheel well. So that's what we're accomplishing today.
Oh, it's going to be really close.
Yeah, I'm glad I looked for a shorter one. That's that kink line, so it should bend easy. Should.
Yeah, it will.
So that's what we're looking at right there. So about 41 by 28 3/4, 18 and a half, and 8 and a half. So we'll get our cardboard up on our makeshift workbench and we'll get it laid out. So I'm giving Mark all the fun tasks.
Appropriate for my skill set.
Scissors, crayons, and glue.
Yeah. Normally, nobody lets me handle scissors or tin snips.
As long as you don't run with them. Yeah. If you want, we can try there's a different pair of cutters we can try that may work a little differently or a little better. We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Believe it or not, that piece was accidentally cut just about to the right size, so it should work good for a template. So we'll go stick it in the car and see what happens. By all means, do the honors.
Let's get right to it.
That is one big piece of upholstered stuff, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Curvature looks good.
Yeah. We're a little long on this side, but better long than short.
Right, and we're a little short on the bottom.
Yep.
And a little short on the top, actually. So we need to add...
maybe half an inch.
Yeah, probably a half an inch or more on the bottom, and maybe a half inch on the top. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, let's take a black marker.
Look at that. First time.
Let's leave it there, and let's take a black marker and trace down that edge so we know where that needs to be.
Okay.
That's a good one. So we're trimmed. Our hole is drilled. The only other thing we need to do is determine where the hook goes through here for the armrest. So that'll be a pretty simple thing once we get it in the car. Looks pretty close. Yep. A little crooked. There we go. I think it needs to come forward just a little teeny bit because our thing is off. There you go. Yeah, just like that. Perfect.
Yep. That works.
Now let's figure out where that is. I'll have to put the camera down to figure that out, but that'll be pretty quick. Okay. All right, everything works good. I made my slot wrong first, but I got it right now. The handle hole is right. Our edge there probably needs just a little tweak. We're okay in the back. So I think we're ready to make our ply template now for this, or ply piece. I have enough ply to make 2 more, this one and the other one. I don't have enough to do that, so I'm going to have to pick up a half a sheet of that quarter. But Chris, probably by the time he comes back, I'll have this done. But so yeah, it's looking good. And there's a pad that goes on here. I was just telling Mark, I think what I'm going to do is I'll put a thick vinyl made pad on here. And then this will just be painted. He was suggesting red, which is a good idea because this piece here and the piece we have yet to make that goes in here will both be that gray that we did in our demonstration video the other day. So, do you approve?
I approve. Mark approved.
I annoying you yet? Not yet.
You'll have to go back to the back first. There you go. And then this time we'll have to pry that out on the front. So, yeah. Oh, you're hitting the floor down here. That's what's going on. Okay. I got you now. I see what's going on. Hitting down there. Yeah, let's do it that way. If we can.
If I do that, I mean, that's what I first tried to do, and then I saw that it was
okay.
Here, so
we may need to just loosen that window frame a little bit.
Or we might just need to bend the plywood.
Yeah, or we could trim that corner off to make some room too. So let's, I'll get the camera down here and we'll see what we can do. We're getting there. Oh yeah, it's got to pry out there just a little. Come up. There you go. Not much help.
Yeah.
Until I put the camera down.
We're good.
There you go. There you go. There she goes. A little overkill. That's all right. And there we go. We're going to come forward and then down just a nova.
Your end should nova, not mine.
Okay.
Well, maybe just a little.
So that black line lines up there. So this one's good. Yeah, if you can just knock your end down a little bit. There you go. That's pretty good. All right, let's put the armrest in and we'll see how we do. And there we go. So our foam pad will hold this. Plus there's going to be upholstery there. So, but still that'll be behind the foam pad because it'll be about that thick. I think what I'm going to do with this is just paint it as we talked about. The more I'm looking at it, I like the way that fits back there. This front edge looks good now. We trimmed it more. We're up a little bit from the floor, but that's fine because there'll be a carpet backing and a carpet down here. So I think overall, we can just lather, rinse, and repeat one for the other side.
Should be simple second time around.
Maybe we'll take this one and put it over here.
I think we have our new template.
I think so. But I think we'll take this one and put it over here just to make sure everything fits first.
That would be sensible.
Well, you know, I do that once in a while. Well, it's after lunch and Mark had to head home. It's 3 o'clock or something like that now. So I wanted to come out and just work on the armrests for the back seat a little bit. I need to make some decisions on exactly how I'm going to handle them, whether I'm going to glue upholstery to these or just do a pad. Originally, they had a pad. And I think the pad bolted on here, if I remember right, but then it was like covered with upholstery material because it has all of the diamond things on the back here for upholstery to stick into. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I may just paint them. I don't know what I'm going to do, but the first thing I'm going to do is do a quick cleanup and get them with some rust conditioner and get them out in the sun so they can dry. So we'll get that done and we'll be back shortly so you can take a look at that. Here we go. Got them in primer. Treated them with rust conditioner. Have to make the decision on whether I'm just going to leave them like that, which means I will actually go over them with fill prime and sand them out so they're nice and smooth. There's a couple little spots would need to be fixed, That may be all I do with these. I don't know. And then I can just screw a nice upholstered pad on top, or we may go ahead and glue upholstery to all of this and still put the upholstered pad on top. I don't know. 6.5, but right now they're gray and good enough for what I'm trying to do here. So we'll let those dry a little bit and then we'll get them in the car. There we go. I like that. So, questions, answers. The seat is going to cover a big part of that in there. There could be fabric put on that, which there probably will be of some kind. I don't know whether it'll be upholstery fabric or carpeting. It'll probably be just a full upholstery fabric or upholstery fabric. But this looks good over here as well. We will need to make, there's a piece that goes down here, a trim piece that we will need to make something for. That's no big deal. There is I remember now, there's a rolled welt, I think, that goes on here. So we'll have to see what we can come up with for that. Maybe we won't, but I think so. I don't think it's on the door. I think it's just on the trim. I got to look at some pictures to remember. Some of this is starting to come back to me, but I haven't worked on one of these cars other than my own for 30 years. So when I was in college, more than 30 years ago, we had a couple of these old Fords, and I worked on them quite a bit. Plus, I worked on them for other people, but it's been a hot minute since I've actually been in one, seen one that is completely assembled. So the next thing now I need to decide is what I am going to do about these two pieces that go at the end of the seat. I think I'm going to make a template and play around a little bit. I got some ideas. I just got to think. And it's hard because I'm not good at it. So I started figuring out how I'm going to do this. And the first thing I decided is I need to put a little filler piece down in here. That's going to help me determine what I do up here. So I got 2 pieces of dense foam and a couple pieces of backer board done up. So I think I'm going to see about upholstering those, or do one of them at least. I'm just going to do it with a piece of scrap right now to see how it works. I'm trying to not dip into the upholstery that I have, if at all possible. I may use this same dense foam on here. I'm not sure yet. This stuff can be cut. It can be carved. It's pretty cool stuff, and it's very heavy and dense. So it's a little heavier and denser than this, but it'll work good in there. So I got one cut for each side. So I think it's going to look pretty good once I get some gray on there. So let's go see if we can find a scrap of gray and see what we can do to make that look pretty. Again, here's the material. There's the backer board. I had a whole bunch more of this around, and I don't know what happened to it. So I don't know if this piece that I have here is going to be enough to do the other thing that I want to do or not. I may just find an old couch and use some couch cushion material to make that. But let's see if we can run some fabric over this and see what it looks like. The shape of this, plus with it having foam padding on there, made it a bit difficult. I couldn't eliminate all the pleats that I wanted to. More my lack of skill than anything. But overall, I think it came out pretty good, plus the fact that it's going to be pretty much buried anyway. So I think this is good. Let's go throw it in the car now and see how it's going to work. Also, note to self, make sure you do it the right way. This was supposed to be for over there, but I did it backwards. It should have been done like this. That's okay. We still have another one. So we will make sure that one works. Let's piece this in here now and see how she's going to go. I think it's going to work pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. It needs a little tweaking here and there, but the seat isn't bolted in yet either, and we may need to raise this up just a little bit. But overall, I kind of like what that does. So I think when we put this in, we could possibly raise the front of this up just a little bit. Let's get this one done, and let's make sure we do this one the right way, which means it needs to be this way and this way. So let's do this. There, now we'll know that that's the curvature. Came out pretty good. I wasn't as careful when I did these when I did that other panel, partly because it's harder with foam. But partly I knew everything was going to be buried anyway, so there's some pleats on the end and in the back, but I don't care because all you're seeing is the top. I'll pull them out of there and show you in a minute. And I need to get some longer staples actually for these because of the amount of material I had to put on the back side. It was hard for me to trim that because it's a little different than doing these panels like we showed you the other day. So anyway, that's in there. That's in over there. So I'm pleased with that. So if we were to paint this wheel well gray or take and upholster it with fabric, that would look really nice. It blends together good. Very goodly, sir. Woot woot. So the seat back up here now needs to come down a little more, and we need to get this seat screwed into the tabs here. Yeah, so the next step now is we need to make the pieces that are going to go in here. And for that, I need to spend some time pondering. So let's pull these pieces out so you can see them, and we'll go from there. Just like that. So yeah, there's some pleats, and there's a lot of material down here. I need to clean that up a little bit, but again, I don't really care. This is different because it's not like the door panel, so I'm not being as careful and taking as much time as I would and I will on these, like I showed you the other day. But these are just down in there and you can't see them. They'll just slip down in there very nicely, like so. Kind of tuck in. They'll fit a little differently than that, but you get the idea anyway of how they go in there. So there we go. That one's up a little bit, but let me adjust them. There we go. I just had to punch it a little bit. So the next step now will be those pieces. If you didn't see this episode the other day, other than the staples were too long, this was the piece that I test upholstered, and you can see I was much more careful with my pleats. Part of that was because we didn't have foam on there, but even with foam, it wouldn't have been a whole lot different. I was just being more careful because this is a concern about going against the door itself and having enough so it doesn't stick out a lot. And in there, I didn't care. So this is very comfortable back here. I'm really liking the way this is turning out. I may do the pads on top of here out of that same green foam. I'm not sure yet. I would do the same basic thing with a card and so forth. I don't know. Gotta ponder it. So that's where I'm going to quit for today. This is turning into a really long episode. Thanks to my buddy Mark for coming up and helping me today. This is really big progress. We will be visiting this again real soon, making those end pieces, putting this in, and getting the seat back adjusted in exactly the right position where it needs to be, etc., etc. So watch for that. Also, in another week or two, Becky is going to be out here for the weekend with me to help finish getting the wiring done on this car, tucked away. Stick a fork in it, it will be done. So that'll do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for slogging through this stuff with me. I really try to give you a real world view of what it takes when you're custom building things. This is the first upholstery series we've ever done on the show. I'm enjoying this a lot, and I appreciate you being here. Catch you on the next one. Oh yeah, don't forget, it's important. Rock!